I was going to call the planning commission meeting to order.
Yes. Commissioner Moffett,
Here.
Commissioner Berman,
Here.
Chair Long,
Here.
Vice Chair Gilardi,
Here.
Commissioner Sparks.
Here.
Okay, and next on the agenda is the land acknowledgement.
The city of Cotati recognizes that we're on the ancestral lands of the coastal Miwok, who are the original caretakers of this area. We respectfully acknowledge the indigenous peoples who have been stewarding and maintaining a relationship on this land as knowledge keepers for the land. This acknowledgement does not take the place of authentic relationships with indigenous communities, but serves as a gesture of respect for the land we are. And the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, approval of the minutes from the January 20th, 2026 Planning Commission meeting. We have a motion
I so move that we approve.
in a second.
minutes.
I'll second it. Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, the agenda is approved. So next is public comment, oral and written comments. Any member of the public wishing to speak to the commission on any items listed on the matters at hand or any matters not listed on the agenda that are within the subject jurisdiction of the commission may do so at this time. So this would just be anything that's not currently on the agenda. If anybody would want to comment on that, now would be the time to do so. Carla, anybody online?
Chair Long, there are no Zoom attendees.
Okay. Matters at hand, consideration of preliminary and final design review approval for Love Car Wash at 7360 Commerce Boulevard. And
Good evening, Chair Long and members of the Planning Commission. So this is indeed the preliminary and final design review hearing for the Love Car Wash proposed for 7360 Commerce Boulevard. Next slide, please. So what is proposed for this project is site and building improvements for an existing car wash use on Commerce. And I apologize for the small size of that map up there, but the red dot is the project site. It is the last property before you go into Rohnert Park from Cotati, or if you think about it the other way, the first property that you find when you come into Cotati from Rohnert Park along Commerce. Next slide, please. This is an aerial view of the site as it is now. It's a little bit over a ½ acre in size. It's adjacent to the Laguna de Santa Rosa channel and the public trail along the Laguna. So this has been a car wash for quite some time. Previously, it was also a gas station. I believe it was decommissioned as a gas station in 2017. So it's been operated under the brand Splash for the last few years and has been a full-service car wash with 8 to 10 employees. It has 2 driveways that go to and from Commerce, and the building has been, I'm not sure how old the building actually is, but as you look at the site, you can see that there are some structures that are no longer used. That are associated with the gas station use, which is no longer happening. And there's been some wear and tear on the building and the property over the years. Next slide, please. This is a view from the street looking northeast from Commerce onto the property. And unfortunately, our view below, well, you can see it in your packets. The view in the picture below is looking from the rear of the property, looking west onto the buildings and then out onto Commerce. Next slide, please. So what the project proponents are proposing to do is to rebrand the car wash as a Love brand car wash. And as you probably know, there are various car washes in the area that have been bought by the Love company or being operated under their brand. It will be an entirely self-service car wash, just a drive-through with vacuum stations that are self-serve as well. 2 to 3 employees on the site. The operating hours will be 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily. The applicant is proposing pretty minor building and site improvements, including demolition of the canopy that used to cover the fueling station or the what do you call those? The gas station pumps. The canopy that is over the front window and the payment kiosk that is no longer in use. New improvements will be a new pay station and a metal canopy that'll cover the back part of the car wash conveyor as it goes towards the east. To the back of the building that'll be there and that is there and will remain there. New plaster and paint on the building exterior. The vacuum stations, which have been located further to the rear of the site, will be brought further forward so that they're alongside the building on the south side of the building. The entire site will be slurry sealed and new striping of the parking and drive lanes will be installed. And then new landscaping will be installed on the site as well. Next slide, please. Because this is, Commerce is a busy street, the circulation is important there. There are 2 driveways, as I said, off of Commerce. The applicant will be, those are not marked now. The applicant is proposing that one will be an enter only, the one to the south, I believe, and then the one to the north will be the exit only so that there's fewer opportunities for collisions at the driveways there and should improve safety along Commerce. There is, and we'll see this in the site plan on the next slide, but there's vacuum stations on the site. Those are going to be relocated, same vacuum machine located. And originally, as proposed by the applicant, they were on an angle so that drivers would need to make a pretty steep back out angle to get out of them. And at our request, the applicant changed those to a 90-degree angle so they're easier to get in and out of. There's plenty of parking on the site, and the applicant is proposing to remove 7 of the 13 parking spaces in order to move the existing driveway to the back of the site further to the east to accommodate a new landscape island that will be there adjacent to the building and the relocated vacuum stations. 6 of the parking spaces will be retained, and those are in the northwest corner of the property. Because this is a self-service gas station, we don't expect that customers will be requiring parking. So the parking will be primarily for the employees who will be on the site, maybe the occasional customer. Our code actually doesn't have a parking standard for self-service car washes. But we believe that that amount of parking is sufficient. That is it for this slide. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is our site plan. Again, I apologize that it's hard to see. I hope you can see it better in your packets. What I want to primarily call out to you here is that you can see in your version that there are arrows indicating how the circulation will work on the site, indicating also the enter and exit driveways, where our text box is up there on the big screen is where there are arrows showing how people will enter to the vacuum stations and back out. Again, those were at an angle previously and are now at 90 degrees, so it should be easier to get in and out of. And patrons will come along the property along the south side, come around to the east, and then enter the car wash tunnel up there where you see the back of the building. Next slide, please. Here's a rendering of what the site will look like following the improvements. The Love Car Wash brand has specific colors, pink, white, and black. So those are the colors that are proposed for the building. And you'll see there's also some signs shown there. Those are under a separate sign permit, which we have at this time. So the sign on the building, as well as the monument sign in the front, are the subject of a separate sign permit that is reviewed at the staff level. Next slide, please. So the applicant is proposing new landscaping on the site, including along Commerce and along the Laguna path edge and at the back of the property along the east side. Notably, there are a number of mature trees on the site. Those are being retained. The only tree removal is 6 palm trees that are along the east side of the property. They're adjacent to the property line, and there's an apartment building there. So that the removal of the trees may have some impact on the residents in those apartments that are immediately on that side. However, in looking at what's happening now, it looks like it's primarily the trunks of the trees that the residents are looking out onto, maybe a little canopy. The applicant is proposing 3 new crepe myrtle trees that will be in a landscape island there on the eastern edge of the property. You can just barely see those trees poking out. As those mature, the hope is that those will soften the view and the sounds and the experience of Commerce Boulevard and the car wash for the residents in that building. Also, the applicant, at our request, extended the landscaping along Commerce all the way up to the property edge on the north. The original application had the landscaping stopping, I don't know what that is, 20 or 30 feet before the property edge. And we asked them to extend it out along Commerce all the way to the north end of the property. And they did that. The landscaping will include, in addition to the new crepe myrtle trees, ground cover and shrubs, which are drought resistant varieties. Next slide, please. So car washes do require a wastewater discharge permit from City of Santa Rosa Environmental Services. The car wash that's been in existence there has that permit, and so that needs to be renewed for this applicant, for the new owner, and that process is underway. And Santa Rosa Environmental Services has reviewed this application, and they put some conditions on the project, which you can see in the resolution that is attached to this staff report. And our staff will be following up with them to make sure that everything is to their satisfaction. Because this site was a gas station, it had underground tanks, and so there is an issue with groundwater contamination, and that remediation is underway. There is actually a remediation installation, kind of a trailer on the site now, and that's under a building permit from us. And that is underway. They don't know for sure when it'll be done. It's being monitored by the North Coast Regional Water Quality Control Board, and it really won't impact the activity on the site, and what's proposed will not impact the remediation activity that's ongoing there. Next slide, please. So looking at the land use framework for this property, the general plan designation for this property is downtown specific plan, and that is for areas that provide a range of community and visitor serving uses. The specific zoning is Commerce Avenue. Not really sure why it's not Commerce Boulevard, but it is Commerce Avenue. which is, according to the code, is the areas that are appropriate for a variety of land uses, including automobile-oriented uses that serve the traveling public. And this area also serves as transition zone from Rohnert Park into Cotati. Next slide, please. According to our code, the Planning Commission does need to make a number of findings in order to approve design review for a project. And you'll find that those are laid out in the resolution attached to the staff report. There are 8 of them, and they relate to compliance with the design review section of the code, as well as a number of other design and site findings as well. Next slide. And next slide. Okay. So the staff does find that the project is compliant with all of those design review findings. And we described that in the staff report and in the resolution. We haven't identified any outstanding design review issues in our review. The resolution that's provided to you for your consideration includes conditions of approval that include certain items that need to be addressed, and those are tied to various benchmarks, including building permit application, building permit issuance, or occupancy. Those items need to be cleared before those various times. If this is preliminary and final design review, potentially, if the Planning Commission decides that additional design review conditions should be placed and can be placed, these can be reviewed by staff, so approved at the staff level in order to provide final design review approval. So the Planning Commission can provide preliminary design review approval. It can also provide final design review approval, or leave that up to the staff review for the future. Next slide. I want to talk briefly about CEQA, about environmental review. We find that this project, what's proposed, is exempt from the need for CEQA review due to the fact that it is minor modifications to an existing facility, and that the improvements are consistent with the EIR that was prepared for the general plan in 2015. Finally, we have our recommendation. Next slide, please. It is recommended by the Community Development Department that the Planning Commission hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution approving preliminary and final design review for building and site improvements at 7360 Commerce Boulevard. I'm available to answer your questions. The applicant's representative, the architect, Jonathan Ramos, is also here this evening, and he's prepared to say a few words, which he can do whenever you're ready or in response to questions. And then we also received a letter with comments and concerns that was forwarded to you following the publication of the packet.
Thank you, Autumn. I think now I'll open it up to the commission to ask any questions of staff before we go to the public.
Do we need to disclose our ex parte? I drove by the site earlier today and just to get a view of the palm trees, and I agree they are mostly oh, sorry, my microphone is on. Anyway, I did drive by the site today to get a view of the palm trees, since I know they came up in the letter. So that's what I did today. I'll leave it to the other commissioners.
Yeah, I also went by that site, went by the one that was converted over in Rohnert Park. As far as the removal of the palm trees, is there indication or any type of requirements as to what the height of the replacement trees would be when they're planted? Because I know it takes time for things to grow.
That is not addressed in the code section related to tree removal. We pay attention to the variety and the size of the tree trunk, not the height.
Typically, it's a 15-gallon minimum.
And one of the letters that, or the letter that we got referred to sound and to lighting. Any of the lighting, does it have any type of a back shield so the light only goes into the property, not the surrounding neighborhood?
I would need to defer to the applicant to address what kind of lighting is currently on the site. No changes to lighting are proposed with this application, and it is our understanding that no additional equipment related to the car wash is proposed.
And it looks like there's some type of existing side agreement with Las Guitarras and the current car wash as far as using the car wash property for overflow parking. Do we know if that's going to be continued or
The city's not involved in that if there is a agreement between those two property owners.
yeah, they have a big sign out front of the
I've seen the
restaurant.
sign,
That's why
I've seen the
just-
sign.
I'm
But there's
just kinda-
no formal easement that we're aware of that would kind of maintain that into the future.
And then my other concern is it's a lot of pink. And when I went to check the Roner Park one that was converted from, I forget what it was prior to Love taking it over, they just did an accent trim of pink, which was pleasing. It looked nice. It wasn't like jumping in your face. So that's something that I'd like to see changed.
I did notice on the drawing, page A1.1, it does say the existing conveyor is going to be replaced. Is that a true statement? The conveyor belt for the car wash?
I would need to defer to the applicant
Okay.
on that issue.
I don't know if that would have any impact on noise. I would assume that if it were going to be replaced, it would potentially be quieter if such a thing were possible, but yeah, when you mentioned that nothing was going to change in the car wash, I remember reading that. So we can ask that. Anyway, okay.
We'll bring that up.
Yeah.
So we can ask that question.
I went to the car wash in Katati. I spoke to people who were using the car wash. I've talked to my neighbors. I measured the tunnel. I wouldn't call it a metal canopy. I would call it an additional tunnel is being added. I don't know what a metal canopy means. And for me, it would be a lot easier to understand if it were written, we are going to double the size of the tunnel. That would have been really clear for me. And maybe I just need a lot of clarity, but that was difficult. I went to the Rohnert Park Loves. I measured their tunnel. I spoke to employees there. I asked them how they liked working for Loves. I saw how the operation ran. It was very, very, very busy, very busy. My concern is the entrance and the exit on Commerce and the way that the cars are being brought around. It seems very unsafe to me. I don't know how somebody's going to get into the vacuum station and get back out again, because you've got to take on a lot of traffic just to try to get to that exit on the north end. Anyway, it seems unsafe. So something has got to be done differently. I agree with you, Commissioner Gilardi, about the pink. When I went to Rohnert Park, I'm like, oh, a pink stripe? All right. I can handle that, but so much pink, and I am a pink fan, as you can see. I wore my pink, I wore my pink to the party here and my cars. So I'm all for cars, I'm all for pink, but that was too much, too bright, and let me just say, yes, but I do like a line, that was all right. So I did my due diligence here, and I did a lot of work and checked with folks, and I will just say to Loves, to the representative from Loves, this is a well-loved, full-service car wash. They go there because they love it, and they go there because they love the people who work there. And they don't want to do it themselves. And I am concerned when it says in here that it is ADA compliant. Folks may not be able to use the vacuum themselves, and I don't know if there will be help for that. So those are my concerns. And do I have a question? Those are my concerns. We'll see about the questions later. Thank you.
If I
Oh.
may, just regarding the distance, the backing up distance from the vacuum parking stalls, it's really hard to see this on your plans because of the size. So the distance is 24 feet from the end of the parking stall to the edge of the driveway that brings folks around to the car wash tunnel. And that is compliant with the city standard for parking lots for backing up area. In fact, it might even be a little bit more generous in that regard. So just wanted to provide that information because I know it's hard to see on the plans.
I'll just disclose that I also went to the Katati site and walked around, looked at trees, stuff like that. I don't have any questions.
With kind of on Shelley's comment with the pulling out of the vacuum stalls. So I can see, or just based on what you said, there's 20 feet behind, but then going out to the exit, they kind of have to go towards oncoming traffic. There's not really a clear path out for those cars, just looking at the arrows in the site map. They all kind of just end right there where the vacuums are. The exit arrows, at least. So I'm wondering, do they have to pull either out of the entrance driveway or turn to the right and go past the tunnel and then pull out through the exit? It's just not super clear how they ultimately exit the property.
It might be a good time to ask the applicant.
Okay,
to-
I can save that one for the applicant. And then I'm not familiar if we have a noise ordinance in Katati. I'm sure we do. Is there, was this compared to that ordinance to make sure there was no issues or that it did have to comply with that in any?
So it's conditioned to comply with it, and generally all the, any new equipment that comes in that gets installed will be reviewed as a part of the building permit, and we'll review the specification sheets of the equipment to ensure it complies with the standards of the noise ordinance.
But the vacuum equipment, that it's going to be all of the existing equipment on site.
Well, I appreciate hearing from the applicant.
Okay.
But generally, if the use is existing, so the use is not before the commission, we're just here to look at the design. And so the use characteristics are kind of an existing condition that is, it's as Autumn indicated, the zoning district identifies these are intentionally for automotive oriented uses. This use is legally established. They're not proposing any element to kind of expand on that use.
Mhm.
And so from the staff perspective, that's not part of what we're looking at. However, anything that's new that does come in as a part of the building permit improvements does get reviewed for existing standards that the city has.
So if they expanded the vacuum system, would that be considered an expansion of the existing use?
From staff perspective, because of how the current operation is, it's hard to give an apples to apples comparison because currently the employees vacuum out your car for you. And they have multiple vacuums going, whereas under the proposal, it's automated where it's self-service. So it's kind of not direct comparison, but I appreciate hearing from the applicant.
Okay.
So that way we know, because most of these car washes use one centralized vacuum system anyway. And so it's really just hoses. It's not any change to the equipment.
I just comment that I actually used the Love Car Wash in Roner Park, and those exterior vacuums, they're very quiet.
Oh. Um, Okay. And then I noticed, there was a comment from the public about operational hours there proposed to be expanded, correct?
I actually can't answer that question because I don't know, I cannot recall what the operational hours are now, so we should ask the applicant
Okay.
about that.
Just on Google, I think they close at 5, Splash Car Wash does, so there's an expansion. Okay, those are kind of my questions for staff, so we'll invite the applicant up to speak at this time.
Is this on? It is. Hi, my name's Jonathan Ramos, president of Ramos and Associates, consultant for Love Car Wash. You guys had a lot of questions. Staff did an excellent job of presenting it to you. And there are some clarification items that I would like to go over based on your questions. To start it off, the conveyor itself, yes, we are replacing the conveyor. This building is roughly from 1950. So the car wash equipment has been in operation for over 45 years. It's very noisy. It's a chain-driven over and under conveyor. We're going to replace it with a new technology over and under conveyor. There's no excavation required for that. It's just simply an equipment change out. As far as the equipment inside the tunnel, i.e. the blowers for drying off the cars, Love has implemented a blower that hits 60 decibels max at 35 feet, which 60 decibels is basically a car driving by in the street. It's very quiet. The existing vacuum equipment that is there is simply being relocated. It's actually the producing unit that is located there currently is moving closer to Commerce slightly. And then the stalls that are up against the eastern property line are being relocated up against the actual tunnel, as you would see on the site plan. As far as the entrance and exit concerns, we have it set up to where the cars are now staging on the southernmost property line. There's one lane in with the pay station going through the tunnel, exiting and turning tightly back into the vacuum stalls. There is enough pasture room at the end of the tunnel between the monument sign and the tunnel exit for cars to do that, to come out of the vacuum area and then exit at the northern exit of the car wash onto Commerce. Let's see. I agree with the pink. I'm not a huge fan of the pinks, but I do have to present what my client wants, of course. There is some, in the spirit of compromise, there is some leeway on that. And I would propose that we would remove a small section of the pink on the tower element that we're adding, mainly that midsection right above the black wainscot. Make that white, and then keep the pink fascia around the building to kind of add the accent. But have that whole midsection of the building above the wainscot and below the fascia just be a white band to separate the colors. I happen to design all of the Love Car Washes. I've just finished one in Ukiah. I have one under construction in Healdsburg. I have one going in Fairfield, starting up in Petaluma, Cloverdale. So we have a pretty standard paint selection, but not all cities, of course, like the pink. And that's something that we have to deal with as a company and a designer. But there is always, like I said, the spirit of compromise, there's always something that we can work out. And I'm not here to say, no, we need to have the pink. If we can reduce it down and satisfy my client and also what the city wants, that's what we're here to do. The main reason for this application was not only just to do an equipment change out on the car wash. Like I said, it's been operating for at least 45 years with the current equipment. And it's very troublesome, always needs maintenance. It is a little noisy. That's a problem. But it will be a much better application after it's completed. And the other thing is to beautify the site. We have a fueling canopy that's there from, once again, the 1950s. And it just serves no purpose currently. And it's pretty ugly. And I believe it needs to come down, and so does my client. To answer the question about the expansion of the tunnel, really all that is a shade canopy over the existing conveyor that's already there. The conveyor sticks out of the tunnel 45 feet. And what we're trying to do is just cover that and shade it. It helps with water spotting when they're applying the pre-rinse and all that. So it is just a shade canopy over the existing canopy that's there. There's no walls to it. It's completely wide open. Yeah. It's basically like a carport.
So what about any kind of chemical that's coming out in?
The chemical still stays in the tunnel portion that's there existing. We're simply just trying to cover the conveyor.
So the actual equipment to wash the car will be in the existing tunnel
Correct.
and not in the canopy.
Correct.
So this will only be a 60-foot.
It's
Tunnel.
40-foot addition to cover the 40-foot
Okay.
of conveyor that's sticking out of the
But I
tunnel.
measured the tunnel. It's
But-
about 60 feet.
Yes,
So that is all the car wash, because at Roner Park, it's 115 feet.
correct.
Okay.
That was an existing site that they converted. The one I'm building right now in Healdsburg is a 130-foot tunnel. But that's all enclosed. It's inside of a building. It's a very nice building too. You guys should look at it. But this is just to cover the existing conveyor leak that's there. Because what happens is you have rollers that pull the car wheel. Those rollers are acrylic, plastic in nature. UV breaks them down. They break from the sun. So we're trying to protect the equipment from breaking down and be in the current state that it's in right now. The existing vacuum producer will remain, as I stated, just being relocated. And we do have extensive landscaping that we're doing on the site. There's been some concern about irrigation. I know there's existing irrigation on site. I just don't know the extent. So we will have to install extensive irrigation too for the new landscaping. It will all be water, it's all WELO, water conservation, drought tolerant plantings. And let's see. Were there any other concerns that I did not note? The parking space concern. Once again, the spaces that are on the east side of the property are vacuum stalls, which the employees currently use to vacuum out client cars. Those are unnecessary because we don't have any retail. It's basically you stay in your car, go through the tunnel, come around, vacuum your car, and you leave. There is an existing restroom that is ADA compliant. The entrance to the building is ADA compliant. So if a customer does need to use a restroom, they can do that, leave their car and do that. I think that's pretty much it. Is there anything else that you guys had concerns about?
Yeah, we'll open it back up to questions from the commission. We can start on this end.
Sure, yeah. So, we did get a letter from one of the residents of I believe it's one of the residents of the apartment building right there, asking if there was a way to keep the trees. So just wondering, is there an opportunity to alter the landscaping to retain the palm trees along the east wall?
Of course, there is an opportunity to do so. I just don't feel we don't feel that the palm trees really fit with the look. And we are replacing them with, as staff indicated, crepe myrtles, which will block that view to the freeway over time, because as Noah had indicated, they are 15-gallon, so they will take time to grow. Of course, once again, in spirit of compromise, we could retain those, move our drive aisle a little closer towards Commerce, and still keep our circulation the way we want. That is an option. It's not one that's preferred, but it is an option.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, personally, I prefer that option because I know a 15-gallon crepe myrtle tree is not very big, right? It's
Right.
probably, the canopy is like, yay big. So it would take a good 10 to 15 years for that to reach any appreciable size. And I don't know, Ed, you've got a picture of the palm trees here we can share. But it's interesting that they have such a gradient. I'm just gonna say, like, they were planted, here's the picture. Like they were all planted 5 years apart from each other or something. I don't know how that happened, but I mean, I don't know. That's my view of it, is if we can keep the trees, just because, they do provide a break for the residents visually, and they don't seem to take up too much space. And I'm always a proponent of keeping trees if we can, because they take time to grow.
I'm the same way. I always am a proponent of keeping trees, just not necessarily palm trees, but
Mhm.
any other natural tree that's, from this area for sure.
Mhm.
Alternatively, can you do like a 25-gallon basket, like the
Yeah.
larger tree instead of the 15-gallon bucket?
I'm not a landscape architect, so I couldn't tell you that off the top of my head. I'd have to talk to my consultant for that. I don't know that 25-gallon is readily available. I know 15-gallon is. But I would have to consult with them on that.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that too, because like if we have to lose the palm trees, maybe we could just buy some time and get bigger trees to start. I mean, I
Sure.
know they're pretty I go to a lot of landscape places like Urban Tree Farm, for example. They've got a ton of mature trees. So, I mean, they're more expensive, obviously.
Right.
And
We've-
you need more ground to plant them in, so that might be a consideration
And-
as well.
And just so you know, we've already had estimates done on the work that we're proposing.
Mhm.
The landscaping alone is $90,000.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's not like we're skipping on anything.
Mhm.
We're proposing nearly $100,000 in landscaping, which for that site is quite extensive.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a site in Ukiah that's opening up in 2 days, and I think we spent 50,000 in landscaping, and it's it's over a half acre too.
Yeah.
Brand new site.
Does that 90,000 include the irrigation as well, or just the plants?
It is irrigation too.
Okay,
yes.
yeah. That, I believe it.
Yeah.
I recently landscaped my house. Yeah,
I
it's-
did too, and it wasn't cheap.
Well, the palm trees can just add to the brand In and Out.
Well, should I tie them together?
A possible thought, because I know one of the neighbors' concern has to do with sound and with light.
Right.
And if the palm trees were to stay, but if there was something that was narrower that filled in those gaps, that would give a little more buffer. I
Yeah.
know Italian cypress grow tall and thin, so there might be an opportunity there.
I would caution against that because of constricting the new tree that you put in there and not having the ability to grow. And also Italian cypress, Hollywood cypress. That's one of the ones I like to take out because they're a mess.
Yeah.
But
I
I
mean,
did want to address the lighting thing. We're not proposing any new lighting except for LED lighting in the canopies of the vacuum stalls. It comes standard in the stanchion. You'll see that at every other splash. I designed all the splashes too, by the way. So you'll see that in the splashes and also the loves. They have LED lighting and everything as far as site lighting, that would be the only thing that would potentially stay on overnight. LED lighting is very direct. It's not like the old halogens where you had to put in shields to keep it on the site. So that would probably be the only lighting that would be proposed that would be of concern. I'm sorry, I had a volleyball tournament this weekend, so my voice is really raspy.
Now, I would agree that, I mean, if the palm trees do go, if we can get a taller tree, I mean, I think the crepe myrtles will be beautiful, especially when they're in bloom.
For sure.
But that, I think, would be a nice compromise with the neighbors.
But I will caution that's going to add more pink.
Is that why you chose that
No,
specific varietal
That's
of crepe
crepe
myrtle?
myrtles is standards that we use. I mean, it's usually like street trees and things of that nature. In cities, they require that. So that's pretty much a standard for that.
May I ask you a question,
Yes.
Jonathan? So if you adjust the design to retain the palm trees, will that impact that planting island where you would be putting the crepe myrtles? Would that mean that we wouldn't actually have crepe myrtles or other trees at that location?
No, it would not mean that we wouldn't have those. We would just have to adjust the drive aisle slightly. I mean, I think we took about 10 feet out of that eastern landscape area and then did all the new plantings. So we would just reduce that space a little bit. We would keep, I mean, since we already have it there, we would keep the crepe myrtles and just tighten it up a little bit.
Okay, thank you.
I have good news for you. Sonoma Valley Nursery has plenty of crepe myrtles
Okay.
in 24.
All right. Are you a landscape architect? Because
boxes.
I don't really keep track
Yeah.
of that stuff.
So with the 25 gallons.
Okay.
So they have the 15 gallons too, but it's not that big of a price increase to the 25.
That's
Couple
fine.
$100. You're already spending 90,000, couple $100 per tree.
What's a
How many
couple
trees
$100?
you got? 3 trees? Yeah.
I'm willing to present that and I'm sure it will be accepted.
Fabulous. Right here in Sonoma County. I'm so glad.
Oh, by the way, I am a Sonoma County native. I'm not from LA or anything of that nature. I'm born in Hillsburg, raised in Cloverdale, and I lived in Santa Rosa for almost 40 years. So
There's only 2 employees or 3.
yes,
I think it will be 2 because it's half the size of Rohnert Park and they only had 3.
Mhm.
So I figure 2. I'm concerned about the trash, that there will be trash out and it will escape. The people doing their vacuuming will be careless when they're cleaning their car. What's going to happen to the trash? And it will go straight to the creek. So tell me how you're going to propose to make sure that it doesn't go to the creek and that it doesn't pass over.
okay. To mitigate that, we have trash receptacles at every vacuum stanchion. They are roughly around 8 gallon. They're emptied out 2 to 3 times a day. Dumpster is on the southeast corner of the car wash up against like where Los Guitarros is. And there will be 3 employees. It's generally a manager, assistant manager, and another employee there at all times. I say 2 to 3 because one will take a lunch and there'll be 2, that sort of thing, or if somebody needs to take a break. But they keep track of that and they keep the site very clean. The site is blown and cleaned every day prior to customers coming in. And I was going to mention all the mentions of love when you were speaking. It's like no pun, but love loves to keep a very clean operation, as did Splash. They're very cognizant of that kind of thing. So the site is well maintained. All their sites are well maintained, and there's never really a trash issue.
I wonder about building a wall where the cyclone fence is beside the creek.
We did address that. Staff had brought that up during our initial review. That's not our property. That fence is whoever owns the creek. That is not, I mean, because that did come up, I believe. So I was like, I don't know what we do there. It is what it is on the cyclone. But we will have landscaping up against it. $90,000 worth.
tunnel, the extension, not really done with the carport,
Mhm.
say. What is happening in that?
The cars are just stacking up to go through the tunnel. They're staged. The conveyor stages them to, with longer tunnels like the one I'm doing in Hillsburg, it's 130 feet. A car will be coming out about every 90 seconds. With something of this nature, it'll probably be a little longer, maybe about 2 minutes per car, but they are staged per the equipment that is installed. So people line up, they roll, there's a slight delay. Another person goes in, they're directed in by the employee, roll. Yeah, it is basically queuing. Yeah. Yep.
Are you proposing a structure around the vacuum equipment?
I don't believe we proposed anything around it because there was an existing structure there that we were just gonna relocate. But on previous sites, I have done that. Yeah, this was just a relocation of the existing. It's usually just a light gauge steel structure. And it's just to hide it from, visual impacts, but it really doesn't do anything for noise because these things are already super quiet. And like I said, I have sound studies for multiple sites, and essentially Hillsburg was probably the most stringent for sound. And we had to meet their city ordinance of 60 decibels, which we met easily because at 35 feet at 60 decibels, well, we were 50 feet from the street. So it's like, okay, the cars driving by is louder than our actual operation. That's for previous projects, yes.
Because it's not a change in use, we didn't get into that issue.
We do when a building permit application comes to us with equipment, some kind of equipment change, we always review the sound at that time. And the city standard is 65 decibels at a receiving use that's residential. So what we do is we ask for the decibel rating for the equipment. And we typically will ask the applicant to provide us the calculation of what that decibel level would then be at the property line so that we can ascertain that it's not above 65.
And in this case, all the actual noise producing equipment is directed towards Commerce and the freeway. There's really nothing that goes towards the residents.
They were to expand on the equipment, install new equipment that required a new process.
Yeah, it would definitely require a building permit. Design review is generally for, new structures or significant renovations, exterior renovations of structures. So there would be some review of the equipment, including the decibels of any new equipment installed.
And I do have supporting documentation for that, for the cut sheets for the equipment if it's required.
Yeah, in fact, it's the same existing equipment.
It's actually better. I'm telling you, that thing's like 45 years old and it's noisy. And this is going to be way quieter. I mean, at both conveyor, blowers, vacuum, everything. Well, the vacuum is remaining, but the blowers at the exit end of the tunnel.
That's all I have.
Okay, no other questions? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, anybody from the public that would like to comment on the agenda item? We have a comment card here, so I'll start with that. Francis Ryan, please come and I think it's 3 minutes for public
I'm
comment.
just going to go roll right into it. And I just want to say the first place prize for your reports of your staff here goes to Shelley on her review on seeing how things were going with other places in this proposal. Today I also couldn't really hear everything. The acoustics aren't so good sitting out there, although I know I'm older and I'm not perfect hearing, but I did miss some things. However, the LED on lights on the I couldn't quite catch it all. It was going to be on the vacuum area. Is that true? We were talking
Yeah.
about, okay. So that's the part that's right up next to the apartment building, which, as those of you who went and saw it, is smack dab right next to the property line. That's how they built that. If that can have some site mitigation, if it's being left on all night, to make sure that it doesn't impact the windows on that side of the apartment. Also, there is a lot of wind in that area. It comes off the freeway. There's a lot of pollution that comes off. I would recommend that white would not be the best color to paint a large piece of material. It's going to get grimy looking very soon. But some other nice color that would go gently with pink. I'm appreciating your concerns also about the mitigation for the palm trees, which, coming from Southern California myself, I do love palm trees, but crepe myrtles are absolutely wonderful and they do take time. And I don't know what the height of them, because it's a 2-story apartment building and the windows are high up. So does it really reach up that high to help them not have to visually see and have light coming in from, does it help with against the sun? I don't know. Hopefully it will. And I went to visit the Love Car Wash that's next to Trader Joe's on Cleveland Avenue. It did seem, it was a business. It was, some noise. The other concern I have is how, but they've been operating for a long time, and I don't know why there hasn't been any accident, because people go so fast there. And like what it sounds like to me right now, you can access getting in there in the driveway, and you have an alternative place to go if people start stacking up behind you. But it's like, it's not your responsibility when you're driving somewhere to take care of time.
Yeah, it's time.
Yeah,
If you want to
okay.
just wrap up your thought.
Okay, that's it. My concern about having a wide enough driveway so people can pull up and get off the street. And some kind of tell everybody, next time you come, be sure to get off the street as soon as you can, because there is no room to go around.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your consideration for all these different concerns. Thanks.
Thank you. Another comment from the public?
Good evening. It's a little confusing. Oh, my name's Adrian. I'm a resident of Cotati. It's a little confusing to me what we are allowed to talk about. It seems like this is design review and so somewhat limited. So I don't know. I'm just going to say what I've been thinking. I'm concerned about the loss of the employees in the sense of what that's going to mean for our community as a whole. And some of it is the jobs, obviously, and the individuals involved, which I think is, it's important right now. These are generally dark-skinned people and they're under attack generally. And I don't want to make things harder for anyone. But in specifically, I wonder about the use of the vacuum cleaners, because there's no one there. It doesn't seem like with 2 people to help anybody vacuum their car. And so that means people who are elderly or whatever are going to have a hard time doing that. The other thing is the creek trail that runs along the one side of the building. Right now, there's just this little wire fence, and the people there do a fairly decent job of keeping it off the trail, but it does blow on. And I think even if it's doesn't belong to the car wash, we could put another fence in front of that fence that would catch more of the trash and be easier to clean so it doesn't end up in the creek. I think when people are cleaning, I heard Commissioner Berman say people are careless. And I think when I clean my car, I'm perfect. And I never let any trash go anywhere. But I bet you that's not true. Oh, thank you.
Any other comments from the public?
Hello, I'm a old resident of Cotati for about 36 years.
Do you mind just stating your name for the record?
Sorry?
Do you mind just stating your name for the record?
Oh, my name's Paul Burke.
Thanks.
And I live right along the Laguna. And I walk this every morning about 7 o'clock. And I watch all these employees of this car wash come in every day on their bicycles and everything else. And I've had my car washed there a number of times. I mean, I used to go there all the time, and they're just working class people, and there was a time when a lot of it they blow off. They keep that place clean, but there was a time they were blowing their stuff over the fence to the creek, and I talked to them about that, and ever since then they come over and keep that whole place clean. That place is very clean. Every morning I see the manager there blowing the thing off. It's been a great little car wash. It's a good business, and all the people there. I've seen the same people come in there to work for I don't know how many years. And, I understand business. I do. I really do. I'm a businessman. I've had my own business. And, but it just, things are going to change and they're going to lose their jobs. We're going to down to 2 employees. And, this is the way business is. It's just like get down. It's, I understand profits, a loss and all the other stuff, but, there's lives that are affected by all this stuff. And I in my heart, I just look at that and I got to know all these people and they're really good people and they do a great job and stuff. And, and my younger years, I've had the same thing happen to me and, you go on, but, a lot of these people are Hispanic and, the way things are going, I don't know. I'm just expressing my heartfelt feelings and I understand business. I do. But, we got a lot of car washes around and, that's one of those that requires employees to do it and you get a different outcome when you go to a place like that instead of going to a drive-through car wash, and I'm not trying to change anything. I know it's already a done deal, but I just want to put the humanitarian feeling into the whole thing that's going on here. There's going to be people that are going to get, they're going to get displaced and, they'll probably find another job down the way, but it's going to affect people. So, and I'm not taking anything away from the new people that are buying it or anything like that. You got a business to run and, but we got one in Roanoke Park.
Sorry,
and
that's
we're going to have
the
one
end of the
here. And
3
I'm not
minutes.
crazy about the pink, but, I just wanted to come and express my feelings about that. And I hope that everything works out, but, I just wanted to express my feeling because I got to know these people and they're good people and they just work their ass off and they, like I said,
Thank you.
they're
I
every day.
gotta cut you off there. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
All right. We'll go back. Sorry. Yeah, let me just ask real quick if there's any Zoom attendees that would like to comment.
Thank you, Chair Long. Speaking to our Zoom attendees, if you would like to make public comment, please use the raise hand icon, or if you're dialing in, dial *9. Jessica, you have the floor to speak.
Hi, good evening. I just wanted to weigh in a little bit here. I also would prefer to have a little less pink, but that's just a personal preference. I know there was some concern about the lines backing up, and I've been to the car wash that's there now, and I also love it. I love that, the employees there do an amazing job. I don't have to do it, but it sounds like that's not the issue at hand, that this is how we're going to be moving forward. So I wanted to weigh in on the line issue. I know that there's some concern as far as the line being in traffic, and even now, or just when I was there before, The lines do get very long and they would have to double up the lines. And I do believe that that space is still there if necessary. I do want to also say that I go to the Love's Car Wash in Rohnert Park. And I think that the line will actually move faster because it's definitely a put in your card, get through the line, and then the machine is going to go ahead and push you through no matter what. So I don't think it's going to necessarily be as much as a holdup as people are anticipating. As far as the garbage goes, I go to the Loves again in Rohnert Park, and they are very clean. They do have like a younger staff over there, a lot of high school kids or, young college kids. And they do come over every single time you pull out. They wipe your windows for you if you want. I have never seen an issue with trash. Every single station has its own trash. And I also think we have to hold our citizens accountable for helping maintain the trash part of it. I don't necessarily think requesting or imposing them to put up a fence is necessary, but as far as I can tell for the trash, it hasn't been an issue. And that's all I have to say on it. Thank you.
Any other Zoom comments?
There are none, Chair Long. That will end the Zoom public comment period.
Thank you. I'll invite the applicant to come back up and address any of those questions.
I just wanted to address the employee issue. Like I said, I am designing numerous other sites that employees will be relocated to. That's basically what I would add. And they are local. We have also one going into Sebastopol potentially too. So that's a close site too. So that's all I wanted to add.
I have it real quick.
Yeah.
Do you want to just talk about the LED lights on the back and kind of the placements?
Yeah, once again, the LED lights is very directional. It's down. And to the concern of it being against the apartment line, that's not the case because we're relocating from the east property line to be up against the car wash tunnel. So in turn, they will be, I'd say probably 50, 60 feet away from the actual property line, if not farther. That's probably more
So
like 70.
further, it's 50, 60 from where they
it's
currently
closer-
are.
It's all
Okay.
closer to Commerce. So it's very directional though. So that's it. That's basically it.
Can I ask a quick question?
Go ahead.
Are you saying that all the current employees will still be offered positions either at this location or others?
I don't know that for a fact, but that's generally what they do. If they have to reduce and we have a new site, they will do that. They will, because they're already trained on Love's operations and it's much easier to relocate them if they have to be. And currently there's only, I want to say 5 employees on site there at all times. That's what I saw today when I was there. I had to go there to look at something else and there was a manager and 3 or 4 other employees.
Question about the LED lights. Are they going to be on all night or only during business hours?
They're generally on during business hours till 8 o'clock and they're on a lighting control.
Okay.
But in some instances, we do leave them on there. It's all it is an LED rope light inside the stanchion. We leave that on for security because there's no other site lighting on the site.
Okay. So, but it's not going to be like super bright.
No, it's not like big yard lights
Yeah.
that are LED. So it's a supernova when you're driving by or a supernova for the people living there. It's literally like a rope light inside the stanchion.
Okay. So it's not going to look like a gas station.
No.
light, Yeah.
Not like a gas station canopy where it's glowing.
Autumn, there's been a number of comments tonight in regards to traffic safety. Is there anything that would restrict us from having the exit a right turn only? Because now that there's a roundabout there in Rohnert Park, people continue at their speed going through and they do go faster they probably should on that strip of road.
That's a good question. Noah?
Yeah, I don't believe that the city could require that, given that the use isn't changing. So it's not an intensification of the site, it's just design changes. There are, entrance and an exit, so there's 2 curb cuts currently, and we can, the project was referred to Public Works. They didn't identify any traffic safety concerns. And we will also refer the building permits to them and have them look at the final circulation plan, make any recommendation as to how the people entering and exiting engage with the public street.
And we did change the actual traffic flow to be in and out. So the
And-
northern driveway is exit only, the southern is entrance.
So people that after they're done vacuuming their car and they're driving out, they're obviously that entrance is right in front of them. Are you going to have signage that shows exit in that direction?
We could do that. We could do directional signage. That would not be an issue.
All right, thank you.
And the commission can absolutely add requirements for directional signage as a condition of.
Good.
Any other questions or comments?
Just comments. I'm gonna be the one weird person. I don't have an issue with the pink at all. Like,
You're weird.
I know, yeah, I don't mind it. But that's just my opinion. I think that, removing the trees also makes sense because it does allow that driveway to be further pushed back, which gives then more ability for more cars to be stacked up, which then handles your issue of our car is going to spill over into the street. And so then if you're taking in and putting those trees back in, you're shortening that driveway. And so I also think that the Creighton myrtles will be more attractive, especially if they do manage to do the 25 gallons, which could be a 10-foot tree versus the 15s, which are usually about a 6-foot tree. So, get those extra 4 feet of tree in there will make just a huge difference for not that much extra money. Can we make that?
Yeah, so if the commission wants to, one, they could approve the design as proposed, upsizing the trees as a condition of approval, no question. Additionally, the commission could give the applicant flexibility to either retain the palms or upsize the trees if they choose to remove the palms. And then as they finalize the engineering and the site work, tighten up the budget with regards to the landscaping, that would give them the flexibility as they designed it, moving towards construction drawings.
Okay. I mean, I don't like keeping the palms because it shortens the driveway, but whatever y'all think. Those are my opinions in life.
Well, you're very optimistic. You think there's going to be a lot of people coming in. Well, my concern is that there's going to be a lot of people going through a very short tunnel. It's not going to take a long time to go through the tunnel. And then there's not going to be enough vacuum spaces, and there will be a cluster so-and-so at the vacuums, and getting in and out and maneuvering is going to be an absolute nightmare. This is my concern. And you will need to have somebody doing traffic control because the tunnel is, and I was wrong about the tunnel. The tunnel is 56 feet long. That's all. 56 feet. That's it. That's a very short tunnel. That's half the tunnel, less than half of Rohnert Park. So whatever it is in Rohnert Park is twice as long. So there will be more. There are 15 vacuum stations in Rohnert Park. There will be 8 in Cotati. And I think that is where the traffic cluster is going to happen. Right there, leaving the car wash, going into the vacuum, and there's going to be a wait for the vacuums, and then people are going to try to leave, and it will just be no way to get out. That's my concern, and I see a lot of opportunity for safety issues, as well as people not getting help to vacuum. That's what I see, and I also agree with you about the wind. The wind it's strong there, and the trash will not stay in the cans, and will manage to reach the creek. That's my concern, and we need to be sure that it's being cleaned up. So, and I am for a pink stripe like Rohnert Park on a white or off-white building. I don't care, but just a stripe, just an accent. Thank you.
Thanks, Shelley.
I go to the one in Rohnert Park quite a bit. The garbage cans, the opening at the top is about that round. The cans are about that round. So I don't think that's going to be, you're not going to have stuff blowing out. And I think that I remember when that opened up at Splash and there was a lot of people using it. And then that died off. And I don't know if I'm normal here or not, but I don't always vacuum my car when I go through the car wash. As we heard, I think it was the online comment that the young people that work there, they come over and ask, do you want me to chamois? Do you need help? Sometimes I say yes, sometimes I say no. So, but yeah, I don't think that we're gonna have the backup after the newness wears off as far as people getting in. My only concern was just the exiting.
Thank you. Any other? So you mentioned, the length, Kimberlin of the driveway. Just want to ask the applicant, do you know how much shorter the entrance would be if those palm trees were to be removed or to be retained?
It's hard for me to tell from my drawings because they're 11 by 17.
Yeah.
And I can't really scale them. But I want to say the existing, when I designed it, the existing was 10 foot of landscape area there existing where the palm trees are, give or take a foot on the southern end. And we are taking it down to a 4 foot area in the middle where the arc is, it's 4 foot, but at both ends, it retains the 10 foot distance because we have the existing trash enclosure that we're working with on the south end. And then the property line and canal fence on the north end.
Okay.
So it gets reduced down to 4 feet. So we would lose about 6 feet in length of driveway. So basically 1 car length. I mean, you consider.
Okay, because I remember you mentioning removing them more for design reason, not necessarily functional. Is that correct?
No, it was for functionality. It's for circulation.
Okay.
We're trying to push it as far east as we can so that we have the car stacking relief from the west coming into the site. Currently, the kiosk that's there for stacking is, at the canopy that's there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, looking at this here, it is roughly 70 feet away from where we're proposing the new pay station. So that gives us 70 more feet of stacking.
Okay.
Which is considerable with cars nowadays. They're small.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Shelley?
Can I ask you a question? Is there any other tunnel that's as short as Katati's will be?
Once again, there is, I've designed 40-foot tunnels. Those are all rollover car washes. They're not a conveyor style. Once again, we do have 45 feet of conveyor outside of the tunnel. So the actual tunnel length, if it was enclosed, would be roughly 95 feet.
But it's not.
It's not, but you still have the queuing on the conveyor 45 feet outside of the actual equipment. So that makes it to where the cars are staggered when
I
they're going in.
understand.
And the building length really has no precedence over the conveyor length. The conveyor length is what keeps the cars cycling through at a constant pace.
Right.
And to Vice Chair's point there, I go through Love Car Wash next to Trader Joe's, the one I designed in 2019. I go through that thing 4 times a week because I have a black Cadillac Escalade and it gets very dirty. I never vacuum my car. I just go through the tunnel and leave. I don't have time to sit there and vacuum. And that's probably, if I had to guess, about 50% of our customers. Some people have more time than others and they do vacuum their cars. Other people just want to wash their car and get back on the road.
The tunnel that I saw in Rohnert Park had equipment when you entered the tunnel.
Correct.
It was over 100 feet.
Correct.
The tunnel in Katati is 56 feet.
Correct.
The conveyor has no equipment. You have to enter the tunnel to get to the equipment.
But
So
yeah, you can't get to the tunnel unless you're on the conveyor.
I understand.
So there's a
But
staggering of cars.
I understand. And the only time your car is getting cleaned is when you are in the tunnel,
Correct,
not when you're stacked,
correct.
not when you're outside the tunnel. My point is, the tunnel in Cotati is 56 feet.
Mhm.
You can't put more equipment in a 56-foot tunnel. You can't make it do double the cleaning so that it's doing twice the job, so you get what you get in Rohnert Park.
Correct.
And if you go 1.5 miles away, you get a longer tunnel, you get more vacuum stations.
Mhm.
I don't understand. Do you have another tunnel for Love's that is 56 feet? This will be the shortest tunnel.
We're not building a new site. We're retrofitting
I
an existing
understand.
site. So all we're doing is changing the existing equipment. So no, there's probably not another one. The one I did in Ukiah is 80 feet and it's
Mhm.
very short. And we have 9 vacuum stations there and it's not an issue. It hasn't been an issue with traffic engineer, public works, anybody. It's approved. It's ready to open in 2 days. So it's not a function of the tunnel per se on this site. The tunnel is what it is. We're replacing like for like equipment except with new technology. So we're not adding more equipment. We're just replacing
I
what's there
understand.
with new and making it new technology.
And if it's me, I'm going to go to the one that has a longer tunnel and I'm getting a better wash.
And that's
And I'm
your
paying the
option.
same money.
That's your option.
So I'll just say, I don't understand.
I unfortunately don't have any control over that. I'm just simply the messenger and the designer.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I've been in a lot of meetings today and my brain's a little tired. What's the concern with the length of the tunnel?
What's the what?
The concern, I'm just not understanding what the issue is. with
I
the
think,
length of the
I
tunnel.
think what Shelley was saying is that you're going to get less of a wash in a shorter tunnel than the longer tunnels.
Oh, okay.
Concern for the customers.
Okay.
Um,
Got it.
okay, do we have any conditions other than the size, the gallon size of the plants that we'd like to
The paint,
this time? Huh?
the paint, he agreed to do the white,
Okay.
not all the pink.
Let's add
Yeah.
that.
I do have one slight typo in the resolution, if I could. point
Please,
that out.
yes, of course.
Sorry, sorry. Okay, thank you.
That's it.
Yeah. In the resolution, the be it further resolved, point number 5, the response is numbered as number 6, and that shouldn't be numbered as number 6. That should just be an italicized response to point number 5, and then 7 should be 6, 8 should be 7, and 9 should be 8. Numbering wise. Thank you.
Oh, I see, on page 48, packet page 48.
All right. Any other conditions this time?
Well, what did we decide on the conditions? What about the pink? What was it? The pink in the trees?
The pink in the trees.
The pink should be in the trees.
Paint the trees pink?
Well, the crepe myrtle will be pink.
Yeah, the crepe myrtle.
Excellent.
So all this will be back to white.
Okay.
All the- this pink along the top.
Yeah.
So basically what we're saying is we want it to be black wainscoting, white, and then pink on the top. So it'll look like kind of like a cake.
Like a meatball.
Yeah, yeah.
Majority of it will look like that.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Is that
Yeah.
what we want to
I'm
go
fine
with?
with that.
I'm good with it. Kimberlyn? I like the pink too. I'm not a huge, but I mean, I don't want
I
people driving.
defer.
Yeah.
I'd like to clarify, it's actually magenta.
Yeah, okay.
We have that.
I'm not against
I think
pink.
it's a nice color. I don't know.
I don't know why you
I'm not
don't have
against
pink
It's just there was a
popcorn.
lot of pink.
It is.
The gift.
It is a
pink
lot of pink.
popcorn pink.
A lot of magenta.
Okay.
Perfect.
And then nothing on the palm trees. Are we okay with the plan as it is?
With Noah's option. Or
Do you guys prefer no? I don't prefer no option.
So,
I actually, I like the use of the crepe myrtle only because the palm trees are like at the upper part of that apartment building, and this will give them a better buffer as they grow in the.
Am I the only person who wants to keep the palm trees then?
I'm indifferent.
Very
to palm
indifferent.
trees.
If you bring burgers, then I'll keep the palm trees.
I promise the time together if you can.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I drove by, the palm trees were a little underwhelming. They were like the gradient is interesting, and then, you know, being palm trees, they're mostly trunk with a little bit of foliage at the top. Although I do recognize, you know, if I were a resident in those buildings, I would want to keep the trees. So I'm gonna say let's keep them if we can, and but at the same time, I do recognize it would make that turn sharper to go in, right? Like you queue up and then you'd have to. So I don't know. Is it worth it?
I mean, we can vote on that condition.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no, I don't want to put it up if you all say no. Like, I can compromise.
I think that the taller crepe myrtle will provide what the residents were concerned about as far as that buffer. Because when, especially, you know, when you visit the site, when you see the picture I took, except for that little short one at the other end, the others are like at the roof line.
Yeah.
Pretty much of the apartment building. So I think the crepe myrtle will provide a happy
Yeah.
medium.
Okay.
Okay.
I want to take a minute to thank the public for coming, and especially Paul for what he said. He spoke from his heart about how he felt about the workers. And I really want to appreciate that, especially at this time. I want to appreciate you for coming and supporting your pop. It hasn't been easy, but you're in pink, and I appreciate that. Coming here and speaking out, this is a community that needs community involvement. And I just want to appreciate the public for showing up, because we need to look inside our hearts right now. So if Love's is the name of this car wash, I hope that it leads with the heart. And I hope it does. I don't have a lot of hope that it will, I will say, but I hope that it does.
Thank you, Shelley. I agree with that. It's always great having the public come out and give us some guidance and kind of what they're thinking. So thanks for making that comment. Okay, does somebody, I think we have our conditions at this point.
I just want to make it extra clear. So palm tree removal is okay. We will condition the project to provide 25-gallon crepe myrtles instead of 15.
That was my
Correct.
understanding.
Okay. And then white primary color with the pink stripe a la the Rohnert Park facility for the building.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
my understanding.
And to clarify, it'll be the pink fascia that I have shown with the white band separated.
Okay.
I'll make the
Oh.
motion if you'd like.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
Sure. So I moved, resolution of the Planning Commission, City Cotati, to approve preliminary and final design review. Actually, can I just approve final design review? Okay, preliminary and final design review for building and site improvements at 7360 Commerce Boulevard with the conditions of the center section of pink being white and the crepe and myrtle trees being at least 25 gallons. If you want to go bigger, that's okay too.
I'll second that.
All right. Would you like to take a vote?
Commissioner Moffett,
Aye.
Commissioner Berman,
Aye.
Chair Long,
Aye.
Vice Chair Gilardi,
Aye.
Commissioner Sparks.
Aye.
All right, the motion passes. Thank you. Next on the agenda, and thanks for coming and presenting, and thanks for coming and speaking. Absolutely. Reports by staff.
Just briefly, thank you, Chair, Commissioners. I just want to identify that it's looking like we're going to cancel the February 16th meeting. So it's a holiday. It doesn't seem like we need to have a special meeting like you guys accommodated last time. So I really appreciate accommodating, but we're going to cancel the 16th. It is likely that we will meet on March 2nd and March 16th. So just highlighting that. And then separate from that, our sustainability team has been working to kind of expand on the success of the Climate Ready Cotati Fair. And they have created and kind of curated this list of EcoWise workshop. It's a whole series. I believe there's 8 of them throughout the year. And the first one's coming up this Saturday, February 7th, and it's at the library. 10 a.m. to noon. And this one is called Waste Not, Want Not. And it's got tips on how to reduce and reuse and just generally improve your sustainability in your life. And each kind of workshop has a different theme. There's a lot of information on the city website, but we just want to encourage people to get out there and go meet our city staff. We're partnering with the city of Rohnert Park. So they're also providing resources. They're bringing in experts to present on each of these items or each of these topics. So just wanted to highlight that and the hard work of our staff to try to improve sustainability here in Cotati and Rohnert Park. And then the next one after that will be March 28th, the Climate Ready Cotati Fair, which is actually 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And that's at the Smart Depot. So just wanted to highlight those two. And there's snacks and swag at both events and all events going into the future, I think. And it's a kid-friendly event too. So I just want to highlight that. And with that, that concludes the department report.
All right. Thank you, Noah. Reports by Planning Commission. Anybody tonight? No? All right. Thank you. Any items received after the agenda was posted?
We did receive some public comments.
And those
they
were
were provided
Okay.
to the commissioners and added to the agenda.
Great. Thanks, Noah. And thank you, Autumn, for presenting tonight. And I will adjourn at 7:32.